Hello and welcome to this webinar. Today we'll be looking at utilization monitoring technology for scientific assets. We'll be asking the question, how can labs ensure that their instruments and equipment are operating as efficiently as possible? My name is Tom Knight. I'm a product manager in the Asset Management Services division at Thermo Fisher Scientific. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's start by looking at the agenda. Today we'll be seeking to understand lab challenges and how utilization data is key in doing so. We'll then seek to understand lab productivity, how it can be enhanced through data-driven insights. We'll then move to assess SmartCapture as a tool for measuring utilization data, as well as looking at ways you can configure and implement that, before moving on to some common questions. So what challenges do modern labs face? Well, we're seeing an increased complexity in lab environments. See, labs tend to layer additional processes on top of existing ones, and maybe even introduce new equipment into those processes. This means that lab workflows tend to become more complex rather than less. For example, a lab might add new analytical instruments to enhance their capabilities, but this can lead to more complicated workflows and increased maintenance requirements. This can cause bottlenecks in workflows because it's then hard to discern where inefficiencies lie. Imagine a scenario where a lab technician spends hours each week manually compiling data from different sources. Tasks like these could easily be automated with the right technology, freeing staff to focus on high-value work. The lack of easy access to data doesn't just slow down day-to-day tasks, it also affects long-term planning. Without the right information, labs struggle to determine what equipment they actually need to purchase in order to maximize the efficiency of their capital spend. As a result, they may be spending too much or too little on equipment, which leads to imbalances in the size and scale of their fleet. Some labs end up with underutilized instruments, while others face shortages that constrain their productivity. These problems then compounded by the fact that time in labs is being consumed with pulling data from multiple places. Researchers and technicians often can't access the specific data they want when they need it, and this forces them to rely on time-consuming manual workarounds. On top of this, labs struggle to measure the instruments across different systems and to collect the relevant data that would allow them to do so. The lack of standardization makes it difficult to build a clear picture of how equipment is being used and where improvements could be made. The result is poor decision-making around resources. For instance, a lab might purchase additional instruments, believing they need more capacity, when in reality, optimizing the use of existing equipment could provide the same outcome at a far lower cost. So how can labs overcome these challenges? Well, labs need support in three key areas. The first is in their capital decisions. Labs need to know whether they have sufficient capacity in their current fleet or whether they actually need more instruments. It's possible that labs could also see redundancies in their fleet, which could allow them to retire some of those instruments and maybe redeploy them elsewhere. For example, a lab might discover that certain instruments are underutilized and can be shared between departments to maximize their usage. Secondly, we have operational decisions. Labs want to know how to calculate lab capacity and workflow volumes, and to see how those workflow volumes can impact their service costs. By understanding workflow volumes, labs can better schedule maintenance and optimize the use of their instruments. Thirdly, we have sustainability decisions. Labs are increasingly looking to incorporate green initiatives. To do so, they want to know which instruments are operating most and least efficiently, and to consider how they can reduce energy consumption. For instance, identifying instruments that consume excessive energy can help labs make decisions about upgrading to more energy efficient models. See, when labs optimize in all these three areas, they can expect to see a significant increase in efficiency and a significant decrease in costs. Ultimately, labs need a solution that is automated, meaning that it doesn't require regular manual intervention. It needs to be non-intrusive in that it can adapt to a variety of workflows and lab processes. It needs to be vendor agnostic, meaning that it can measure utilization data across a wide variety of instruments. The solution should be configurable to your specific lab and situation. It needs to work across a wide variety of labs, as well as being IT friendly so that it can be updated as the needs of your lab change. This is where I'd like to introduce SmartCapture. SmartCapture is a technology that measures asset utilization. It works across a wide variety of lab instruments and manufacturers to provide a wealth of data that you can use to make informed decisions that will ultimately improve the efficiency of your lab. SmartCapture can track usage patterns, downtime, and maintenance needs, providing a comprehensive view of your lab's operations. SmartCapture data can be viewed in two ways. Firstly, you're able to view the utilization of individual assets. It gives you insights into utilization through a heat map of an instrument's typical usage. You're also provided with trending data, which gives you a view of that asset's usage over a period of time. You can see an instrument's configuration, as well as a percentage summary of the instrument's utilization. As well as measuring individual assets, SmartCapture can provide an overview of your entire fleet. On this screen, we can see fleet comparison capabilities within SmartCapture. And the goal here is to help you understand utilization trends across asset groups, locations, and environments. Firstly, we can apply time period filters, for example, 30, 60, or 90 days, to clearly see utilization trends and how they shift over time. This is especially useful for spotting seasonal or workload-related variations. Secondly, we can compare by laboratory, location, or cost center. This sort of thing allows us to benchmark performance across different teams or facilities and to pinpoint exactly where assets are being under or overutilized. Finally, we can group assets by categories. This makes it easy to analyze similar instruments together. For example, looking at centrifuges across multiple labs to ensure that we're getting the best return on investment. Altogether, this gives lab managers and lab leaders actionable insights, not only identifying where utilization is high, but also uncovering where it may be underused or constrained due to maintenance or downtime. Let me also introduce you to Asset Management Services, or AMS for short. This is our more structured approach to help you evaluate vendor effectiveness, to track maintenance trends and continuously improve service quality across your lab environment. AMS provides a comprehensive overview. It brings together the signals that matter, maintenance history, reliability trends, and spend, so that you can see the whole service landscape in just one place. It helps you evaluate vendor reliability as well, being able to compare partners on things like response times, first time fix, and re-repair rates to drive accountability across the business and provide better outcomes. It helps you understand work distribution, breaking down work type by vendor and by site to spot patterns and rebalance workload where it helps the most. It also helps you monitor service quality, being able to track KPIs over time to confirm improvements and to surface any gaps early. So where does SmartCapture fit into this? Well, SmartCapture provides the utilization data. When you combine that with AMS data streams, you move beyond isolated metrics to decision-ready insights so that you can know where best to invest and prioritize within the lab. To give you a flavor of the benefits of SmartCapture, I've got a case study here. We worked with one of the largest pharmaceutical and healthcare companies in the world. They wanted to increase their spend efficiency and instrument uptime, as well as getting increased visibility into their assets. So we implemented an AMS program with SmartCapture across 3 locations and 28,000 assets, providing them with robust reporting capabilities. This involved detailed analysis of their existing workflows, identifying bottlenecks, and deploying SmartCapture to monitor and optimize their asset usage. This comprehensive service increased productivity, saving scientists up to 3.5 hours daily, freeing them up to work on those projects that actually drive value. By automating things like data collection and analysis, scientists could focus on their research rather than those administrative tasks. We're able to maximize instrument uptime by measuring instrument usage and implementing an out-of-hours alert system to reduce those support burdens. The company was able to optimize their capital expenditure decisions through SmartCapture and to monitor their instrument usage through the data analytics dashboard. Ultimately, this led to significant cost savings through reduced expenditure, through entitlement changes, and expanded resource scope. The company could make more informed decisions about their assets and their asset purchases, as well as their maintenance schedules. To put numbers on that, the company was able to save $4 million across its US locations. They had a 58% reduction in repair response time and a 16% improvement in on-time completion of preventative maintenance. Now, ultimately, that's what SmartCapture on an AMS program can provide. Not just the ability to make your lab more efficient, but to actually see the results of that in real numbers. These savings can then be reinvested into further research and development, driving innovation in the lab. So what are the next steps that labs can take to implement SmartCapture? Well, there are 2 different approaches that can be taken. The first is a total fleet approach. This deploys across all lab instruments and sites. It provides a comprehensive view of the entire lab's operations, allowing for large-scale optimizations. Secondly is a project approach. This approach is more common, and it deploys SmartCapture across specific workflows. It's commonly used in workflows that include high-value assets like mass specs. It allows you to measure bottlenecks that may be present in those workflows so that you can work to make those workflows more efficient. Now, this targeted approach can provide some quick wins and ultimately demonstrate the value of SmartCapture before scaling up. I'll now answer some questions that are commonly asked around SmartCapture. The first is whether support is provided in setting up SmartCapture. And the answer to that is yes. We've got a dedicated support team on hand to help you set it up. They'll also provide that ongoing support to ensure that you're able to maximize the benefits of the product. Our team will work closely with your lab to understand your specific needs and then to tailor the implementation accordingly. The second question is whether SmartCapture is compatible with all lab equipment. And the answer to that is that SmartCapture is compatible with a wide range of lab equipment. So it's worth noting that the equipment must have a power source at the very least in order for us to measure that utilization. Other than that, labs will need to determine for themselves which pieces of equipment are most valuable for them to measure. It's not always the case that labs want to measure every single piece of equipment. They may in fact just decide to focus on the more high-value assets. Our team can help you in identifying which are the most crucial assets for you to monitor. The third question is whether future developments are planned for SmartCapture, and the answer to that is yes. We've got a robust product roadmap in place, and we're looking to continuously update that and iterate the product in line with customer feedback. We want to ensure that the product's up to date with the evolving needs of labs. We're also exploring new features and integrations that will be able to enhance the capabilities of SmartCapture. If you'd like to know more, the next step would be to visit the link thermofisher.com/ULS-quote or follow that QR code on the screen, and one of our consultants will reach out to you to answer any further questions that you might have. With that said, I'd like to thank you for joining this webinar. We hope you found it informative and that you now have a better understanding of how SmartCapture can help your lab to operate more efficiently.